texted me last night and told me last minute that our co-host Ash Hamilton had to bail on this show and wasn't going to be able to introduce Mike Figgis's 1995 tour de force Leaving Las Vegas, starring Nicolas Cage and Elizabeth Shue, as he was assigned. I got very, very upset. First of all, I haven't spoken to Ash in a very long time, and I was deeply anxious to probe him about his dating and sex life. But more importantly, the theme of the show I put together was about drinking and death, and drinking yourself to death. And Leaving Las Vegas is the single greatest film, if not the only one, that ever dared to truly combat this painful topic. And so I wanted to sit it out. I wanted to hear what other people thought. I know what I think, but I can barely hack sitting through Leaving Las Vegas, much less having to goddamn write about it, because it's so achingly amazing to view and truthfully almost too difficult for me to emotionally withstand. But I can be a drama queen, so what the fuck else is new? Shot in 16mm with no budget or permits to shoot on the strip, this is one work of cinematic jazz that must be seen to be believed. Look, I'm already having a tough time conveying my feelings for this film in words, so let me just rattle off a few stream of consciousness sentences here that will hopefully be enough of a tantalization for you, okay? Nicolas Cage has never been better. This is far and away his greatest performance outside of Raising Arizona. If you tell me he didn't actually drink himself to death for the sake of this picture, I would say you are cracked. You are not cracked, though. Cage won a Best Actor Oscar for his role of a manic-depressive, alcoholic screenwriter named Ben Sanderson, who loses everything and moves to Las Vegas to drink himself to death. He has never shown this much vulnerability before or since. I prefer this role to his roles in any Ghost Rider or National Treasure franchise. The lesser famous Elizabeth Shue is equally astounding as the emotionally disconnected prostitute Sarah, with an E, S-E-R-A, and she has a tremendous backside. You want to fuck her so badly, but once she lets down her guard with Cage's Ben and proceeds to become his lover and best friend and caregiver, you want to both fuck her and hold her and thank her and kiss her forehead and eat rice with her and curl up on the couch and watch a movie with her. She truly is Ben's angelic antidote. Okay, I can't write about this anymore. I feel so stupid. Tom, I told you this one was going to be short. I'm not really crying if you clowns fell for it. This is the sexiest, most romantic movie I have ever seen in my life. I do not do romance, but this one is a heart crusher. I wish a special edition Blu-ray would come out. I want to hear backstories. Cage and Shue's chemistry is jaw-dropping. I wish they would work together again. I had no idea this film was based on a novel written by a guy named John O'Brien, who actually wound up killing himself after he sold the rights to it. And it's full of weird cameos. Who the fuck puts Julian Lennon in a movie? Mike Figgis also did the score. You should purchase it, but you can only get it on CD. It's not on iTunes. It also features some killer Sting songs. Sting can be so annoying. Not here. This film features my all-time favorite cinematic theme. Two misfits find each other in a world of shit. This film is an artistic triumph in all ways, but it really hurts to see Ben disintegrate. When Sarah gives Ben the flask as a gift, I fall apart. It's comparable to the scene in Ed Wood, where Ed tells Kathy in the funhouse that he likes to wear women's clothing, and all she does is pause and simply say softly, "Okay." That's amore, Joe! Leaving Las Vegas and its bittersweetness will imprison you in melancholia. I could imagine myself drinking myself to death with a beautiful woman by my side. This is a sincere soul movie of mine. Charles Bukowski wrote, "The history of melancholia includes all of us. Me, I writhe in dirty sheets while staring at blue walls and nothing. I've gotten so used to melancholia that I greet it like an old friend. I will now do 15 minutes of grieving for the lost redhead, I tell the gods. I do it and feel quite bad, quite sad. Then I rise cleansed, even though nothing is solved. That's what I get for kicking religion in the ass. I should have kicked the redhead in the ass, where her brains and her bread and butter are at. But no, I felt sad about everything. The lost redhead was just another smash in a lifelong loss. I listen to drums on the radio now and grin. There is something wrong with me besides melancholia.
I can't remember if I started drinking because my wife left me, or if my wife left me because I started drinking. This is one of the many things that Ben Sanderson says in Leaving Las Vegas. A really amazing film, an amazing piece of work. I mean, I love this movie. And again, it's like we're talking about drinking, and we're talking about really just alcoholism. We're talking about creativity. We're talking about relationships. This movie too, I relate in that to Ben Sanderson in the fact that he devotes, his heart and soul to the alcohol, and he'd rather concentrate on the alcohol than anything in his life. And I mentioned earlier, I think I was with a woman, and when I was like 29, 30, and when I was like 29 or 30 years old, and I wasn't mature enough, to really concentrate on being the person that she wanted me to be. And alcohol was the problem. And Max, you're going to hate that I say this, but I could relate to Ben Sanderson in this sense, that there were times at 2, 3, 4, even 5 o'clock in the morning, and she would like to drink too, but she wanted to fuck. And I swear to God, I would rather continue to drink than have sex with this beautiful woman, which is fucked up. Which is alcoholism, which is why I relate to Ben Sanderson, because I think he's the same way. And it's disturbing.
She may be beautiful, but maybe you weren't attracted to her.
No,
and he still manages to get it up for Sarah.
I know, but I'm talking about on a bi-nightly basis, dude, where I'd rather be partying.
Now, has this been with most women or just this particular woman?
No, with most women. Not so much anymore, because now I'm like, when I can take it, I just take it. I don't mess around.
I'm sorry. Are you saying you would rather drink than fuck?
I think.
Are you saying booze is more important to you than pussy?
I think at a time in my life it might have been.
What about now?
I don't think it is the case now. No, but I can't be certain until I enter another relationship. Like, I still have to go through that test. But I know that feeling, dude. I know that. I know what that guy is searching for in a very little way.
It's self-destruction.
It's self-destruction. Yeah.
So, Tom, are you long for this world?
I don't know.
Oh, God. Oh, God, I can't take that.
You can't take it, Joe?
Oh, I don't want to hear it. It's not that I can't take it. I don't want to hear it. It hurts me to hear it.
I can't answer that question. And I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. I don't know. I know I'm self-destructive. There's no doubt about that.
Let me ask you this, guys, because this is the point that that I took away from the movie this time around watching. It's one of my favorite films.
Great.
It's probably not great because none of us are arguing about movies this time. We're all agreeing, which is probably not great. But so I think the point that I got here, and this is something that happened in my life actually pretty recently, Tom. I guess with my brother, I guess I could say that. Do you accept people, their behavior, even if you know what their behavior, if you know that their behavior is self-destructive and that is probably either going to lead to death? Is that love? That's what I think the dilemma here in this film is, and that's what I hear. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
We're just
What's your
letting that person do what he wants to do and not interfere.
What's your responsibility if you see somebody that you love destroying themselves? Are you supposed to? Are you supposed to? But should you love them because even though they're destroying themselves, or because you have that love for them, or should you love them enough to try to stop their self-destructive behavior?
That's what this movie's really talking about.
That's basically what it's about.
That's what it's talking about.
And that's what you're talking about.
Right. It's
because so here you just spoke about a loving relationship that
yes, a great
you're
one.
basically you're basically self-destructive, and so is that woman, and maybe you can't blame that woman for whatever. I don't know what happened, Tom, but
she eventually got she was done with it. I mean, there was nothing more, like it wasn't going anywhere, and she was younger than me, like I like 6, 7 years. I was like 6 years younger than me, so I was like we started going out. I was like 29, I think, and she was only 23.
So in your eyes, should she have tried to stop you from being self-destructive, or should she have just accepted you as being self-destructive until the end?
Well, I mean, I don't. Should she have tried? I'm sure. There's no doubt that she's, gave me slight hints that, stop this, or this relationship isn't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't in the mind of doing that. So
Tom, Max, what do you think about that question?
Which question?
If you love somebody who's destroying themselves, is your responsibility because you love them to help them stop their self-destructive behavior, or is it because should you love them enough to accept them for who they are, self-destruction and all?
Really,
I think in reality you should do everything you can to help them.
And that's what the trained instinct is. But the beauty,
and then once you
there's a
realize
beauty
that you can't be helped.
But there's this picture, this Leaving Las Vegas film. It's like, do we? I think as viewers, we all accept what Sarah is doing.
Yeah, Tom, she's a fucking prostitute who has been sliced, beaten, raped, pummeled. She is the same as Ben.
That doesn't make her decisions or her love any less than anyone else's.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that is why.
See, Joe's got us arguing.
That is why she accepts him.
Well, you know what? It's funny though, because she accepts him. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, she accepts him almost for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, she's like, "I need you.
I need you.
I need this.
I need
this.
I
need this. Yeah, she needs that.
She never felt this way before about a dude. She's had a million dudes inside her, and Ben
because she hasn't had somebody who needed her.
Never.
Yes, that's it.
And made her feel like a woman.
He did not need her, nor was he. He wasn't looking for her. He didn't need her. I mean, he tried to run away from it. Because self-destruction is by nature selfish.
Right. Tom, I think he really wanted to be with her, but I think
I know what we say and what we do and feel are.
That's the romance of the movie, Tom. He really wanted to be with her, but he couldn't because he knew his fate. That's the tragedy of the film. He can't be. If he wound up with Sarah, there would be no Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He loved her. He called her the antidote. He called her the answer, and then he knew
the answer to being able to function somewhat. That's what I got out of being able to function somewhat during the day.
No, well, this is the question. You know what we're talking about is actually what the question that Figgis is asking us. I think that's exactly it. So, should he have? Is he being selfish for not trying to, come out of it? It's just, this is the question. I mean, should she have tried to stop him if she really loved him? These are the questions that he's asking.
She had to accept his fate too. She had to accept her own fate, even in the temporary. She's like, I am going to ride this wave. This is the love of my life. And when he's gone, I will never meet another man like him again. and I'm fucked. And that's also part of the tragedy in the romance.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic because they're both selfish people.
Yeah.
Eventually,
and they're
the end,
using
because
each other.
She needs him to destroy himself.
But
she needs a person who's to take care. She needs to help somebody destroy themselves.
You say that they're using each other, but like, isn't every relationship basically two people using each other? But
to a point.
To a point.
Not good relationships. No.
Yeah, I mean, no. Joe, how long have you been with your wife?
Yeah, you could say using, but you can also say complimenting one another. I think is probably a more.
That's a polite version of yeah.
It's a polite version, but it's actually but it's a distinction that's really important.
I don't think it winds up with the person you end up marrying. You stop using once you marry someone.
Yeah, you become one another. You become honestly, I know it sounds very polite terminology, but when you love somebody, you don't use them. You.
There's a scene in the film. All right, based on that, there's a scene in the film that's kind of like, it seems like there's a marriage, where Sanderson says, you have to understand that
you have to accept me for who I am.
You have to understand that you could never ask me to stop drinking, and she says I do, like as if it was a marriage.
Absolutely.
So at that point in the film, do they cease to be using each other? I mean, if you go back and look at it,
those are the terms that they've agreed upon.
Yeah, that's the marriage contract.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I know. It's based on selfishness, though. I think it is. I don't know, man. That's just my feeling. It's just my feeling. I don't know.
No, it's a great question. And it's a good point. It's but then again, like I said, I mean, I could make an argument that everybody's just using each other to feel certain ways, to do certain things. Well,
you could, if you just say it from the different way, it's we need one another.
Yeah. Forget the using, Tom. You're getting too caught up on the using. Forget that.
You don't like that.
In the here and the now of Ben and Sarah, they needed each other and they helped each other, and she fucked him to death in many ways. Right. She was the last thing. I mean, how the fuck that dude was able to get it up for her, considering the fact that his liver was failing, and she hopped on top of his boner, is magic.
It's a little bit of movie magic.
I remember,
guys.
Go on, Joe.
I'm sorry. I was going to sort of switch the rails here. I was going to say that I think Elizabeth Shue in this movie is, I swear to God, I have I think she it might be my favorite woman in any film ever.
God,
like,
right?
I don't even,
like
it's not even a joke, man. Like, always, it's always been like,
she's otherworldly.
Yeah, this movie has always represented to me probably the highest level of femininity, my dream, my fantasy. She's blonde. Yeah, she's an angel. She's funny. A whore. She's blonde. I can't get it. I just.
You mean her performance in Piranha didn't do that for you, Joe?
Or Palmetto?
What about Hollow?
The Karate Kid. What about the Karate Kid?
Yeah. Oh, dudes.
Right. Or Back to the Future Part 2.
Why do you think Figgis cast her?
See, that's an interesting question, because I was sitting in a bar a year after this movie came out. The movie just come out on videotape, so people were.
Tom, you were sitting in a bar?
Sitting in a bar, man, and I was having some drinks, and for some whatever reason it was, Leaving Las Vegas got brought up, and we were all talking about it. And the bartender, this lady, she was really, really smart, I remember. And she was so disgusted that they casted Elizabeth Shue. She said that it's just completely and entirely unbelievable that this woman would be a prostitute, that she's too wholesome looking, and that it was a bad choice of casting.
Wow.
Oh, yeesh.
Well, that woman's a cunt.
She died of cancer, Max.
Oh,
and
people die of cancer.
She may have been missing the point that she's actually an angel.
Yeah, she's an angel, and that woman's a dead cunt.
Yeah.
Max, you like Sting's performance with his? That's the only thing that
Have
I
you
think that I
ever
don't.
had the feeling? Come on, Joe. Those songs are amazing.
I can't take it, dude. That's the only part of
I
this
don't
film
like
that I can't.
Police Sting. Yeah, I love the Police. Don't get me wrong. I could listen to the Police all night. Like
Joe, it's better than Free, Free, Set Them Free.
I can listen to some of the old Police, but I can't. I don't know. I'm
Police,
just not.
Outlandish, the more like that shit's awesome.
Yeah, some of it, but I'm
No,
not a huge
I
fan.
think Sting's songs are like a character. I think they punctuate what's going on between Ben and Sarah, and also with Julian Sands. I mean, that fucking guy is so great as that paranoid, awful pimp motherfucker. How great is Sands?
Yeah. Hey guys, I did want to point out this is a weird coincidence, Tom. I wonder if you picked up on this. In the beginning, before the credits even roll, which is amazing that the credits started 15 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. But like before the credits even roll, Cage goes into the strip bar and he sits down and he's drinking the flask, and sitting next
Who
to
is
him
that?
is the guy who was the neighbor in Barfly.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's fucking
No,
crazy.
it's not. That guy.
I swear to God,
Get
it's him
the
with
fuck out of here!
yeah, with the crazy eyebrows. Oh God, we gotta.
Crazy eyebrows. The crazy eyebrows guy.
Yeah,
That's him.
it's him.
I gotta reset. Oh man. Whoa. Wow. And Max, you know, you're right. There's so many pop-ups. I mean, what before the credits roll, you get Weber, right? You get Steven Weber and fucking Richard Lewis of all people.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Don't drink it in here, okay?
Danny Houston.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, Dan, that's it.
That's him?
That's a
He's
crazy
a bartender at
fucking
the casino. R. Lee Ermey.
R. Lee Ermey. Yes.
All right, guys, let's get back to the interesting stuff.
Sorry.
Talking about extras.
What was interesting is that your channeling of Bukowski sounded very much like Bill Shetty of the old Horror Palace.
I would never watch this film because it doesn't have any horror.
But this is a fucking horror film through and through.
Yeah, well, if we did it on Horror Palace,
Could you imagine, Max?
it's funny, guys. You know, my point was validated. I actually took a horror writing workshop last week, and the teacher, this guy John Skip, who's evidently written a lot of stuff, and he wrote one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets or whatever. He provided a little handout, and in the handout, he wrote that horror movies aren't just horror movies. I mean, here are 10 mainstream films that I consider horror. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was on there. I mean, there was a whole bunch of movies. I'm like, this is the one benefit of the class, that it kind of validated my point, even though, I mean, I don't know how much credibility this guy had with me, but the fact that he pointed that out gave me relief.
Dude, he wrote one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, Max. That's credit in the horror world.
Well, I'm not entirely sure which one or what was his level of...
It doesn't matter.
All right, it doesn't matter.
Yo, Joe, have you known anyone in your life that has basically drank themselves to death?
Is it possible?
I mean, not for like, we're going to drink for 30 days and kill myself. Even over a slow period of, period of time.
Oh, a friend's father did, basically. One of my friend's fathers did.
This dude was like drunk all the time?
He was drunk. He stopped drinking for a while, and then he would go on crazy binges and be like laying on the floor, and then
Tom, do you want to die, or are you still into the life thing right now?
I like life, man. No, I don't want to die, Max. I'm all right.
Well, that's good. Ben wanted to die.
Dude, totally, man.
And I think he would have died a fuck of a lot sooner if it wasn't for Sarah. I think Sarah
you might be right about that. Yeah, because
I don't care about his plan with cash. I don't care about how much booze he, had stocked in the room or whatever. I think that was his last gasp, that incredible woman who was so damaged herself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Max, do you think you're an alcoholic?
I think I'm definitely prone to alcoholism, but it has not destroyed my life yet, Joe.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that about this film, or both of these films, really, is that their portrayals of alcoholism is essentially like at the extremes. And alcoholism is a tricky thing. It's like what is the point at which you become an alcoholic? Like how much do you guys drink? Let's put it like that.
Okay. Well, I'll answer first.
That's a question.
No, once I drink once a week, but when I drink that one night that I do drink once a week, it's like the last hour I'm blacked out. Like I never remember the last hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Once a week? That's it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you can't just sit
Sometimes
down.
twice,
Because you
sometimes.
can't sit down and have a beer.
No, I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
It's not possible. Once I have one, I need to have 15 to 20. And vodka.
Then we're gonna go through all three of us, and then we're gonna see who's an alcoholic and who's not. All right, Max, what's your drinking habits? I know you were on the drinking thing. What's that?
I took 30 days off.
Yeah, you took.
And it was not as tough as I thought, but it varies with me. Like lately with the recovery and everything, I've kind of been having wine every night. I'm having some now, but you know what?
Now, when you say wine, is it a bottle of wine or?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I've been nursing a bottle of sparkling rosé. It used to be I could knock out 2 or 3 bottles of wine a night. I cannot do that.
Wow.
I cannot do that anymore. I can't.
Well, I guess that's no different than drinking like 2 6-packs, I guess.
Yeah,
probably, right?
I mean, I cannot do that anymore, and I get really sick of it. And like now, I have to plan my drinking. Like one night a week. I mean, that's just unpredictable, Tom. Like,
he's talking about getting completely obliterated.
yeah, but I haven't done that in so long. Where I don't drink until I pass out. I drink until I'm like, ugh, I cannot have another sip of this.
Yeah, I love it. Like I love, when I'm on, like I'll come, like say if I do it on Thursday, like I usually do it on Thursday night. I get home like around 20 after 9 from work on a Thursday night. I'll come home, I shower. By 10 p.m. I'm ready to drink, and I will just drink probably three or four beers. Then I start going into the vodka. Maybe I'll go out down to the bar from like 12 to 2, come home, and then from 2 to like 4 or 5 in the morning. That's that's when things start to get a little shaky. Like
I'm just so happy that you come home and shower. Do you shower before you go to work?
Yes, every.
Well, that gives me a lot of hope, Tom. You were talking about not brushing your teeth and being.
But Tom, you can't sit down.
Bukowski said he didn't didn't want his teeth cleaned.
Well, okay, Tom, you didn't make that clear.
Max is fixated on the teeth cleaning thing.
Yeah, and then I said.
Well, that's because Tom texted me. I haven't had my teeth cleaned in 6 years, and I was looking up places to have his teeth cleaned. I get my teeth cleaned twice a year.
That's really good. I get them once a year for me. So my drinking habits. So
yes,
okay.
Joe.
Okay.
Teeth cleanings.
Essentially, like I'll try to take off like Monday,
you don't
Tuesday.
Want to have a clean mouth, Tom?
I didn't say that, but I don't want to talk about.
Are your teeth dark yellow, Joe? Are his teeth dark yellow?
I don't know. I'm not looking at his
Is it
teeth.
because of the smoking? All right, fine. I'm not getting into it.
Is it because of the smoking? See, if I ever get to be face to face with you, Matt, I'll be terrified. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. If you come to me with a mouthful of dark yellow teeth, I won't be able to have you in my home.
Fuck you, dude. Oh. That's the most awful thing anyone has ever said to me. Honestly. That is by far. I've been called a lot of shit, but that is by far.
How can you get offended when I haven't seen your teeth?
Because what difference would it matter? Are you gonna tell me that like you wouldn't have me in your home? That's awful.
Well, I would have to give you a whole.
You know what? I don't want to go in your home if it's anti bad teeth.
Shane McDetloff.
Horrible. But yet you idolize Shane McGowan, Charles Bukowski, and countless.
All right, get back to. Let's get back to Joe's drinking habit.
It's much less interesting. I'll drink, essentially I'll drink like 2 beers a night, but probably like 3 or 4 nights a week. But then when I'm hanging out with other people, I'll drink a whole bunch. But I don't.
End. Max, listen, if I'm hanging out with Joe,
like I can go all night if there's other people there, but I'll never drink more than like the most I'll drink are 3 beers watching a movie.
Oh my God,
one
nothing is better than Joe at my condo putting the beer in the fucking dog food. I have to send that picture. It's the
well. Yeah, now, Joe, go. Just put the beer in the closet.
Fucking
there's a everything's mood. His kitchen has mood lighting in it. You can't see anything. You need a flashlight to get through his kitchen. It's like everything. I need my face to look perfect, Joe. So I need the lights dimmed in every single corner of the room. So he says, go to the closet through the kitchen and put the beer in the and there's a trash can. I open up the trash can. I throw my beers in there. Little did I know he's got his dog food in the trash can. I'm filling his dog food with empty beer.
Food bin.
I was so good, Tom. I was so petrified that I was not behaving properly.
Right.
The whole night.
I've been in those situations where you're in a place.
Stop it.
And you're terrified that you aren't worthy of being in that home.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
Like, even when it comes down to, like, if they put, like, a snack out, it's like you worry that you're not eating it properly.
Oh, please.
Do you have the...
Right, I had
Are
the
you
napkin.
using a coaster? Do you have...
I made sure the napkin was on my lap.
Right.
And I patted the sides of my mouth every time I took a bite because I was so worried I was going to offend them.
It's not Downton Abbey at my place.
Jesus. How twisted.
Tom, I'm upset that you can't sit down and have like 1 or 2 beers watching a baseball game.
I would love to, because I'm not a normal, because I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, it might be,
Tom's the alcoholic, Joe.
I think it might be. I get worried that I am, but I mean, having 2 beers is
but Joe, let me tell you something.
But I do it like
you don't have a big gut.
Joe, we get together. Well, now we'd say a good 3 or 4 times a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give it your all. You are up until 4 or 5 o'clock. When I was at your house last month,
I do like hanging out with.
You were up.
Drink when I'm with
you and
people,
Jeff. We were
sure.
the last. Like Billy was like, "Yo, I'm done with this. It's 1:30. I'm done." Ron passed out like 3 hours before that. But Jeff and myself and you, we were up acting like a bunch of idiots until 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, but I never do. I'll do that honestly, maybe once every 2 or 3 months.
But you do it. But you can do it. Most people like Billy, they're done. Like they.
Oh no, Billy binge. No,
Billy does.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. It's because we were drinking. Yeah, no, it's because we were drinking hard alcohol. That's all. It just knocked them out. I've been up with Billy until
the sun came up.
Yeah.
Did you ever kiss him?
Joe, only the way that I kissed you that night.
Did you ever exchange hoodies? Like, say, I'll wear. Why don't you wear my hoodie and you can wear mine?
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
Fuckers. Guys, anything else on leaving Las Vegas? Oh, you know what I want to hear, Max? Joe, talking about self-destruction.
Oh no!
Talking
right,
about
I don't need
drinking,
to do it.
binge drinking, ruining yourself. Let's hear Joe's. Joe recently just went to Boston. Joe, your newest film, Meat Cycle, premiered there, right? At the film. What film festival was it?
All right, I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible.
Joe, answer my question. Stop.
Okay, but the Boston Underground Film Festival, right? So I made this film, the weirdest fucking film, and I sent the rough cut out. I sent one submission out, and it got in like months later. I had no fucking idea. So this is a fucking crazy film, and usually, I'm like, oh, I hope people like it. I hope maybe there's someone there. Maybe I'll get, meet someone who will make another film. Maybe I'll make a feature, whatever, this and that and the other. This film, I don't.
Is that what the voice inside your head sounds like?
Yeah, and so yes, exactly. So this film, I don't give a fuck, right? Like, it would actually please me if people walked out of the the theater for this one. Like, I have no expectations,
Wow.
no nothing, right? So I go up there. My wife and I drive up to Boston. It's about a 4 or 5 hour drive. We go out for a beer. We meet friends out there. We have some more beers. We go out to eat. We have some more beers. We get to the theater. I'm like, whatever happens here, who cares, right? And when you're in the lobby of the movie theater, there's more beer. So like, I'm probably 2 shots and 6 beers into it at this point, right? And I'm sitting in the lobby. And I go and I'm listening to these people. I'm like, wow, this is a film festival. Like, it was really well run. Like, and it was all weirdo films, or
You've been to
like
some
underground
crapola
films.
film festivals.
Yeah, I've been to a whole shitload of film festivals. Some of them are good, some of them, are not so good or whatever. So anyway, so I'm sitting in this lobby and I'm like, wow, these people, first of all, they're not just the filmmakers and their friends. It was like actual people who came out to go and watch these, underground films or midnight films. They're like, there's people talking about Harmony Korine in the fucking theater,
Nice.
like in the lobby. They're talking about John Waters, this and that and the other thing. I was like, wow, this actually might be really good. I was like, this people might actually enjoy my film. So we get in there, and my film's probably like the 6th to play out of probably like the an 8 film block. So I'm sitting in the theater, completely drunk. I have another beer in my hand, so at this point I'm fucking loaded. And my film starts to play, and it's not the film that I made. Like, it's cut weird. Like, it's
What?
fucking weird, right? So I get fucking pissed. I go to my wife and the 2 friends that were there. Let's go. We're going right now. So we walk out of the theater, and I start talking about Godard and how he punched a producer in the nose because, at one point at Cannes or Con or whatever, they re-edited his Stones film, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I thought they edited the film. Like, it seemed to me that they edited the film to shorten the length. So I'm pissed. So now I go out. I'm livid. Like, I couldn't give a fuck if everybody walked out of the theater. Like, I thought it would have been great. Nothing would have mattered to me, except now I'm like, God damn, the one thing I didn't foresee is that these fuckers fucking with my film. And I left before the film was even over. So we go out. We're in Harvard, by the way. Like, it's right outside of it's in Cambridge, right outside of Harvard.
Oh, Harvard.
So I go out there, and like, I'm with all these Harvard people. I'm get fucking smashed loaded. Like, I'm like obliterated, right? And I'm pissed. I go back to the theater. There's nobody there. I was gonna yell at somebody. So then I go back. We go back to the hotel. I crash. I basically black out. I'm fucking loaded. I wake up the next morning. I'm fucking hungover, but I'm determined. Like, I'm still not seeing things clearly, and I'm determined to go and fucking say something. So I march my ass down a half a mile away from the theater. I walk into the lobby. It's crowded now with kids. There's like a weirdo like kid block going on, and I chew out the fucking lady who's like running the schedule or whatever, and I make a fucking scene. I'm hungover, stinking, and then I get a call an hour later, like, we're eating breakfast an hour later, and the guy and I gave it to her, right? And then so the guy who's actually in charge of the festival, chews me out because he says, I played the file that you sent. How dare you talk to my staff like that?
Oh.
You're not welcome here. Get the fuck out of Boston,
What?
you fucking asshole. How dare you talk to my staff like that? So now I'm listening to this message and my heart's dropping. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm kicked out of Boston, essentially, and I'm driving 5 hours home.
Wow.
And I find that the last file that I exported from my fucking it was just fucked up. It just somehow it got all mangled. So not only did I ruin what could have been like a really pleasant experience where those people would have loved the fucking film. I would have had a great time. I would have got loaded with those people afterwards in the lobby. People would have loved it, and it would have been great. Not only did I ruin it for myself, but I made an ass out of myself I blamed somebody else for my own stupid behavior. And I basically, got exiled from the Boston Underground.
Meat Cycle, banned in Boston.
And all because I was drunk, and I determined that it was not my fault, and fuck everybody else, because I looked at it and decided I made a drunken assumption, and I went and behaved based on a drunken assumption, and I totally made I embarrassed myself more than I've been embarrassed in so long. I'm such a fucking asshole. Tom.
Are you going to write a letter of apology, Joe? Because I know you.
I did.
You don't want to.
I did. I wrote it.
That's amazing, Joe.
The next day I did. I wrote a letter of apology.
That's a great story.
It was apology from dumbass filmmaker, and I basically said the same thing that I said to you guys.
Wow.
And there's my drunken movie story of the month. What a fucking idiot I am. I'm such a fucking idiot. I swear to God, I've been fucking depressed.
I hear you.
But you learned. You got to check the file before you send it.
Yeah, Joe.
I need to be thorough. I assumed that the file was fine, and I assumed that I wasn't thorough, and there you go. At least I could take solace in knowing that I owned up to my own asininism and fucking apology.
Holy shit.
There you go.
Max.
You know when you get drunk, Tom, you do shit and then you wake up the next morning.
Oh, yeah, all the time. I do this every week, Joe. Well, what I always do is I'm always looking at like the last text messages I sent, any emails, anything on any kind of social network. I just make sure that once all that's clear, I'm like, all right, everything was all right last night.
Yeah, well, I made an ass out of myself.
That's classic. Oh my God.
So.
Max and Joe, thanks a lot for coming on tonight. It was a real blast. I really had a nice time talking about both of these films. Max, thanks for bringing them to the table. Barfly and Leaving Las Vegas. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by Christiana Productions and New Media Limited. The show is edited and co-produced by Joseph Schreck and produced by Thomas Detloff and Joe, banned in Boston, Christiana. You can find us on Facebook.
Persona non grata.
At the Cutting Room Movie Podcast. And follow me on Twitter, Thomas Detloff, at TCRM Podcast. You can also check out Joe's film work if you live outside the Boston area at ChristianaProductions.com. And also check out Max and Adam Shoulders, Bowler Hat Productions, and their Mimosa Podcast show at MaxCookandTheCounselor.com. Music from The Cutting Room is done by the Zillatones. Check them out at www.thezillatones.com or search for the Zillatones at ReverbNation.com. We will be back next week with Billy Barassa.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
And our 2 DVD release review will be the 2012 film Anna Karenina. Until then, we are over.
Thank fucking God I'm not on that shirt.
You're a lucky motherfucker, Max.
I am.
Until then, we are over and we are out. Go Red Sox. Ciao.
Oh.
Next time to satisfy more of your strange desires. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast. We do chicken right.